Thanks for your company. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, COPEC Ghana, Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, together with some other transport unions across the country today, have embarked on what they describe as a peaceful demonstration here in Accra over persistent increase in the price of petroleum products over the past 5 months. According to them, the increase is causing hardships which consumers can no longer bear. COPEC Ghana claims that several calls for government to act on the matter has so far yielded very little results. Maxwell Agbagba has been speaking with Executive Director of COPEC Ghana, Duncan Amoah, at that demonstration.
A long walk from the Brass Sport Circle. We currently head into the Central Business District, where we are told that the group demonstrating will be converging at the Arts Center. We have the convener of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, here with us, Duncan Amoah. He's going to tell us exactly the purpose of this demonstration and why they've decided to take this long walk against what they describe as the astronomical, increase in the prices of fuel at the pump stations. Duncan Amoah, you're welcome to join me.
Thank you and good morning.
Great. Tell us what exactly this demonstration is all about.
Indeed, as you can see, we are expressing our unhappiness with the fact that fuel prices are going up every day. You wake up in the morning, it's gone up. By the following evening, it's gone up, and it's just going up. And we think that it cannot be allowed to continue. So today we came out in our numbers to demonstrate against the growing phenomenon of fuel prices hitting our pockets. We are saying that some of the taxes necessarily would have to go. Unfortunately, we are not seeing the taxes going. The more we complain, the more prices rather rise, and that clearly is not good enough.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you've heard from the NPA, the National Petroleum Authority. They are saying that for a price stabilization interventions, but for that, the prices would have been more than we are seeing now. So clearly, government is doing something about the situation, and they don't understand why you should go and be demonstrating. They feel, you have your own interests and agenda.
Indeed. The only reason people with jobs to do would do a Wednesday walk is something that is hitting their pockets. Our interest is our pockets. And so if the pockets are getting emaciated and depreciated by the day because of increasing fuel prices, then there is every need to be worried. The NPA would say it has done something, but the question is it enough? Have we seen the NPA's intervention bring down fuel prices?
Well, they say from November 2017, for instance, so now, price of fuel, has increased at the international market, cumulatively from 15% to about 17%, we are told. Clearly, they are doing something.
So are the taxes also increasing, and that is where our problem lies. The more international prices go up, the more you realize that the taxes are also increasing. One of the taxes called special petroleum tax, which we have had on several occasions to complain about. When international market prices or ex-refinery price goes up, then SPT also goes up. And so there's a double dose, of punishment to our pockets each time world market prices go up. Why would the NPA not talk about the taxes? It cleverly dodged that aspect, and that is the only reason.
Why are you also not talking about the price stabilization interventions?
It has not done enough. Yesterday, prices went up. And so if the NPA's intervention is doing anything positive, we should feel it at the pumps.
But you're saying that prices went up at the pumps yesterday, but the argument has also been that not all the OMCs, the oil marketing companies, have increased prices, at the pumps. In fact, there are some of them who have not increased prices at all.
That is one of the excuses they use. Every now and then when fuel prices go up, they will tell you not everybody, but generally if it has gone up across the major OMCs, where over 80% of Ghanaians are buying their products, and you tell Ghanaians it is not gone up, then you are being disingenuous. They should be truthful to the facts on the ground. That is the only time they may be able to look at the solutions we are proffering. We want some of the taxes to come down immediately. It is the only way we would see fuel prices either stabilize or drop. But at current tax levels of over 88% percentage on ex-refinery price, what we are seeing is that the phenomenon will continue even into February, into March, into April. And we are saying that enough is enough. We cannot continue taking these increases anymore.
I'll come to you shortly. But you are clearly not happy about, even the price stabilization interventions that they put in place. You're not satisfied.
That is not enough.
You are saying that is not enough. So what do you think is the solution then?
We have said that
what's the way forward?
We have said they should look at the special petroleum tax SPT. They should look at easing down on some of the taxes there. The SPT at current 15%, what it means is that each time international market prices go up, SPT is also rising. And the double dose is what we'll pay in our pockets. And so we are saying that reduce the SPT so that we can have some sigh of relief. But if you don't do these things and you tell me stabilization is not money for the MPA, it's money from our pockets.
No. So tell me, going forward, what are you going to do? We understand that you intend to petition the Ministry of Energy, and then you intend to petition a couple of people, stakeholders also. Tell us about that.
We will send the petitions across to Parliament, to the Ministries of Transport, the Ministries of Energy, the Ministry of Finance, and the Flagstaff House, the Presidency itself. Okay. After a couple of weeks, if we continue to notice prices going up again, what will happen is that we'll go and sleep at the ministry this time. So this is the first of our demonstrations, and we are saying that we are not happy with the sort of taxes you have imposed on petrol. Some of the taxes were brought when world market prices were 28. The understanding was that when it goes up, you reduce the taxes. Unfortunately, it has gone up to 38, 48, 58, 68, and it's still going, and none of the taxes is being taxed because government needs money. We also need money.
Okay. Thank you very much. So just heard from Duncan Amoa. He's with the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. We actually working. You can see I'm still sweated. We understand that we're working all the way to the Art Center, where the group will be converging before that address will be coming from him. So from here at the Central Business District, we're still walking. Make you relax. I want you to relax so that we do so
My colleague Maxwell Akbagbada, well, he also spoke to Samson Asaki. He's Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana.
Okay, so we are continuing our long walk to, you call it freedom after maybe government listens to their cries. But until that is done and petrol prices are adjusted at the pump, then we cannot call it long walk to freedom. I have with me here Samson Awingobi. He is the Executive Director of the Importers and Exporters Association. They also have some concerns. I want to find out from him what exactly their concerns are. Samson, what exactly are your concerns?
Well, quite clearly, I'm sure you know the exercise that we are embarking this morning. It has to do with the lorry fares or transportation, or it has to do with petroleum products going up high. And that has a negative impact on businesses. And that has a negative impact on Ghanaians who are joining trotro, on Ghanaians who are joining taxis to work, and Ghanaians who are driving by their own cars in and out from their work and back to their homes. And so when I heard that Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, an independent body that has no any political color, whether it does not belong to NDC MPP, but these are independent that advocate for the vulnerable people in this country. I realize that this is where, as Executive Secretary of Import and Export Association, I can come to give a moral support to them. And so I am here to give solidarity support to Duncan Amoa and his team from the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers and the Drivers Union. Of course, you know, as Executive Secretary, importers are also paying so much to transport their cargo from the port to their warehouses, to their stores. Exporters are also paying so much to transport their goods to the port for onward export. And so it's affecting them massively. You may pay a fare today for a transporter to take your cargo from here to Kumasi, and the following day you want to transfer same commodity again, and they will give you another fare. When you want to ask, they'll tell you, go to the fuel pump, and you will see that prices have gone high. Hence, it is important for me, as Executive Secretary, to come and give a moral support to the Ghana Chamber of Petroleum Consumers.
But are you impressed by the numbers? I mean, you are crying on behalf of Ghanaians, saying that petroleum prices have increased, at the pumps especially. and you're saying that Ghanaians are feeling the pinch. Looking at the numbers that showed up today, I mean, less than 50, I should say, or less than 20 or 30, I should say. Do you think that your concern resonates with the people and it's a true reflection of what is happening on the ground?
You are equally a demonstrator. You are equally.
I'm doing my work as a media man.
You are equally because you pay transport to get to office before they will assign you a duty to go and perform. And so sometimes I'm sure at the end of the month, your own salary marked with transportation fare that you spend from, that's it. You worry, but you cannot do anything. And so if you see a petroleum price coming down and the kind of money that you spend on transportation, save, you can use it to do something better or even go back to do masters in school. And so it is a cause of worry to all of us. And the one good thing about it, again, that I'm here is that Importers and Exporters Association is not also paying so much in transporting their cargo to the market. And you are a consumer. And so you also go there and the prices of goods goes high. It is because he or she, the price of transportation is not stabilized. And so there's a need for us to come and give them a moral support. I think that it's not about the numbers of people walking out to do the demonstration that will send a signal, but a demonstration that is taken by a private independent that has no any political inclination. That is the reason why I was so happy to join them. Indeed, if it were to be an NDC now in opposition, would want to demonstrate because Ghanaians are paying so much on petroleum, and Ghanaians will come back to do that demonstration. It's a hypocrite because tomorrow if they become government, they will also tell they need that money to do something. If they are to be an MPP who are to be an opposition and think they want to come and lead a demonstration that Ghanaians are paying so much for petroleum products, and if they come, there will be a government that will change the destination. You have seen Ghanaians coming out. I think that type of demonstration is not the best. If anything has to go by, if the international missions in this country will have to listen, I think this is the body that they have to listen because this is an independent institution that actually advocates for the Ghanaian.
Big thank you for joining us and also sharing your views on this particular subject. So we'll continue to walk to the Art Center where we'll finally be converging for a statement from the Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amoah.
So that demonstration is still ongoing. My colleague Maxwell Akpabista will reach him shortly for some updates on this. But earlier, the National Petroleum Authority, the NPA, released a statement on this demonstration, as at the time there were just talks of a possible demonstration. But as we showed you, there really is a demonstration ongoing. But the NPA gives some reasons why they believe that this demonstration should not be held in the first place. They try to give us some understanding to what's really happening on the market, the reason we are seeing some increase at the pumps. Joy News editor First Smith joins me in studio with details of that, plus other analysis on what really is happening on the world market, for which reason we are seeing some increase at our pumps. Welcome to Joy News Desk, Fred.
Thank you very much.
All right, so this is almost a two-page release from the NPA. What exactly are they trying to communicate in this release?
Well, the NPA is, whilst they sympathize with those who are facing the hardship as a result of the increases at the pumps, they are also recognizing the rights of those who want to demonstrate and be on the streets, yes. But they've explained that they have put in place some interventions to help minimize the impact. What COPEC and all others who are on the streets marching today are demanding is that the tax component is looked at again. And if you realize, NPA is just the regulator for the industry. They do not make the laws. So the ministry or government would have to make a proposal to government, to Parliament, and then Parliament will consider, and that's not even foolproof because that can be rejected by Parliament. And so that process has to take place before anything can be done about this. Anything beyond that, we have to rely on events on the world market. And if you realize, it's been like this since November last year. It's seen a steady rise. And the reason is that last year, we had a lot of fuel price reductions on the international market, was going down and was affecting the producer countries. Ghana was included because we're also expecting receipts from our sales from our oil production. And so, I mean, we are somewhere in the middle. We are exporters and we are also importers. What happens in this situation is that the oil producers are saying, well, they're losing because prices are going down, so they have to cut production. So led by Saudi Arabia, they decided to, an OPEC meeting decided the cuts. And
so in other words, let's make it scarce so it's more expensive.
Exactly. In fact, that's been the strategy for OPEC. OPEC will reduce prices. There are times you have the United States pumping its reserves into the system so that even if there's an OPEC cut, it still neutralizes what's going on. But the United States did not respond that way this time around, and so we are experiencing it. For those who are consuming nations are experiencing the reductions or the increases that we experience as a result of the cuts in fuel production. So until production is increased by the major oil producers, we will continue to face this situation. And remember, the crude that we buy are futures 3 months ahead of time. And so if you're experiencing it today, expect it to last another 3 months, even if something is done today.
Interesting. Some useful education there. But the NPA in their statement talk about the fact that since 2017, last year, December 2017, they tried to manage or minimize the impact of the increase on the fuel market. So, for example, they talk about that intervention being brought about, and that from February 1st this year to 15, they were actually, we should have been seeing an increase of 5.06%, but what we are seeing now is 2.16% because of the price stabilization and recovery levy.
Indeed, what the NPA can do is to, see how they manage the situation with the price stabilization and recovery levy. That they say they've done so well, and that's how come we're not seeing even higher, prices at the pumps. So what they want the demonstrators or consumers who are worried about the increases to do now is to put the pressure on government rather to ensure that the necessary changes in the taxes are done. Another thing experts are proposing to stabilize the situation is for government to now hedge our oil purchases, and there's a huge risk with that. If you do not read well into the future, then you may hedge, prices can drop to as low as maybe $40 per barrel, and you'll be buying at, say, $70 per barrel.
Just a bit of clarity for those who may not really get the expression hedge.
Well, to hedge means you have agreed a stable price.
Great.
For the commodity over a certain period of time. And if you recall, during the John Mahama administration, there was a similar thing that happened. We had hedged, but we were experiencing, difficulties with oil because it was going down on the international markets. So our sales from the oil production was less. Receipts from oil sales from Ghana was less, but we were buying it at a higher price on the international markets because our reading into the future was not spot on at the time, and we had lost in this hedging deal that we went into. So yeah, it's difficult for every government to hedge, but hedging will guarantee you stable prices. So if you feel that, or if you have you sense the mood of oil producers and you realize that they're going to continue to cut or maintain the production levels, then you can go in and say, well, I've hedged for, say, 3 months or, say, half year, and that I'm going to buy that, say, $50 per barrel. That way, prices are not going to go up in your country. No matter how much you import, you will have stable prices, and some of these agitations will be dealt with. Sure.
Finally, Fred, there's an appeal by the NPA in the last paragraph of their release. What exactly does it say?
Well, indeed, I'll read unedited. It says, we wish to advise all interested groups that need further clarity on the current state of petroleum products prices to contact the NPA for a discussion. There's the addition. This will ensure that the public is not misled by those who are motivated by reasons other than those of national interest.
Interesting, and it's signed by the Corporate Affairs Division of the NPA, trying to reach them for a response, but we'll bring you more on that later. More importantly, to find out what exactly they mean by those who are motivated by reasons other than those of national interest. We will be interested in finding out if they know of any reasons. We'll be glad to pick their reactions on that. Thank you very much, Joy News Editor Fred Smith, for the details from that press release of the NPA. We'll bring you more on that demonstration that's still ongoing here on Joy News on Multi TV.